Welcome to Sharmark. I am your host, Sharmark, and we're going to talk about music today because, as we know, the Saint Lucia Jazz and Art Festival is around the corner, and we have a lot of musicians in Saint Lucia. And this is what we do at the Sharmark Show. We just highlight everything that's important, or we bring all the beautiful stories to you. We have a young man here. I think I knew him before through his mom, but I just sitting here before we came on screen. It looked like he's doing a lot of stuff. So I'm happy he's here today so we can get some more information. We can dive into his business.
Sign me up, I come for this cup. Sign me up, I come for that. Was lady, come for this cup. Sign me up, I come for this cup. Sign me up, I come for this cup. And I go and keep properly.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, how are you doing?
I am wonderful. And then you go by the name of?
Elmo Norville. Some people might call me Elmo or Elmo Norville.
Okay, so that means the whole of Big Bird and Cookie Monster, everybody's on the outside because Elmo, whereas when they told me I was interviewing Elmo today, I really thought I was interviewing the whole of Sesame Street. Okay, so tell us, Elmo, how did you get into music? I mean, like I've seen you as a child with a guitar because you know somebody going to music school and stuff like that, but you didn't think that. I'm happy that was, especially when you know somebody that you took it as a profession. I mean, like, but when did you realize you wanted to take music as a profession?
Well, going back to your first question, what pulled me into music? Well, my parents enrolled me in the School of Music about when I was 4 years old. And I started playing piano and they were teaching me theory as well. So I got the opportunity to learn the technical side of music, reading music, which I will always say is very important. And then I grew with the different bands and the different lessons at the School of Music. Went with Miss Larcher, then Miss Angela Kamsel, and then graduated to the concert band, jazz band with Mr. Heinz Kiche. And then that gave me the opportunity to perform at different jazz events. And my first jazz event was in 2013 or 2012.
So when you mean perform, to be part of a band?
To be, well, yeah, I would say part of a band. I played the instrument called trombone and the euphonium. They are big horn instruments.
Okay, wow.
And that gave me the opportunity to play on a big stage. But really and truly, the time I realized I want to take music as something of importance, I like the feel of it, was in 2008.
What happened in 2008?
So in 2008, there was jazz with Wyclef Jean. And people may not remember, but he invited some kids to come on the stage. And I was one of the children who escaped from my parents and found myself on the stage. And then something about music, when I hear it, it just puts me in a different world. And then I just started dancing on stage, you know, and then Wyclef Jean just picked me up, put me up in the air, and I was just dancing. You know,
and then you just like that feeling, you just connect
like
everything to fall into place.
It's like, I want to do this again. I remember every time telling my parents, I want to go to jazz because like, I want the opportunity to go on stage again.
Yes,
and then
yes,
music too, playing music at a young age, putting them two together, and then being on stage, getting the opportunity to be on stage again when I was at the Saint Lucia School of Music. Playing at jazz, even in school too, that made me realize like music is something I would like to do for a living.
Were you ever involved in the Saint Lucia Police Band?
I actually started in the cadet band, playing trombone and euphonium, the same instrument, and then afterwards I went to the police band for a time, probably let's say 3 months, but they had a little confusion, and I'm happy it happened because it made me be an independent.
So it was like a blessing in disguise.
Yes.
I think sometimes, let me tell you what happened. I think the fact that you went to the Saint Lucia Police Band, maybe they just felt your talent and stuff like that. So that wasn't a place. And maybe if you stayed there, you'd feel stifled. We might not be having that conversation now. Yeah. So sometimes in life, it's something, once something happens, you just move on. Yeah. So in terms of arranging music, enlighten me. Is it that, because I realize now most persons, they sing in a rhythm. So do you create a rhythm? If I need to do a song, you create the rhythm for me and I sing on that rhythm? That's how you say it?
Yeah, I usually make different rhythms for artists. And, you know, people have it confused sometimes because arrangements can be done on pieces that are already there.
Existing.
Yeah, so with rhythms, you build it from
scratch.
From scratch, or it's like a certain idea you get, and then then you arrange it for the artist to be able to sing on it or how they perform it on stage. Because if you realize, if you listen to a song on the radio and when you go to like a live event, it sounds different.
Different,
It
yeah.
has a different feel to it. So arrangements are done mostly live, sometimes on recordings as well. But yeah,
But that's one of the reasons I don't go to concerts, because I think
it doesn't
I paying
sound-
almost $300 to see you and you're just singing along with your song. To me, and you tell me raise my hands up and all of that. I am thinking if you're playing the rhythm
Yeah.
and you're singing with the rhythm is different. So the music industry has changed so much. So is it an easy way out, singing with the rhythms? What's the difference between the rhythms and a live band?
Well, the thing is, when you're just singing over the rhythm, sometimes I could say it's an easy way out too.
It's more
but
flexible.
It's more flexible for the artist, I would say that, because even when I play live sometimes with my instruments, I usually just play a track and then it still comes across as live, but I still play on the rhythm. If I play for full band, sometimes we carry our samples and some people stem out the different parts of the song and you play over it to give it more vibrance and you could arrange it how you want.
But just sitting there is making me wise. It can also be somebody singing in a rhythm would not know how to read music because
Yeah.
they're just singing in the rhythm.
Exactly. Yeah. So usually the arranger actually shows the artist or educates the artist in that process,
In terms of what part do they come in,
Come
what
in,
time
what-
they raise the voice and stuff like that.
Exactly. So it's like a little, you could call them musical directors in a sense for
Okay.
the artists. And some of the artists I work with, they do have a voice as well. Sometimes they cannot put it into musical terms. So that's where you come in as the arranger to give it the light for the audience.
Wow,
who's
so the
listening.
arranger is really playing a big part of that music before it actually hit the airways.
Yes. The arranger, the composer as well.
What is the difference between the arranger and the composer?
Okay, so the composer, they have two types of composers, I could say. The composer who writes the music, write the words to the music, and the composer who makes the beat, basically the
Okay.
music producer.
So these two persons have to work together.
Yes, to create the full piece.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the person who takes it from scratch, puts it together to give to the artist. Some artists write their own material, but some artists don't. So that's why the writer and the musical producer has to come together to compose the piece for the artist that's putting it together. But after you have the composition, that's when you arrange it for like performances or how you want it to be executed.
Guys, we'll be right back. I think I'm going to arrange something. This calypso not passing me at all.
So I want a man, a little bit sour, a little bit sour, a little bit sour. Give me what you have, a little bit sour, a little bit sour, a little bit sour. Yo, one time woman.
Welcome back. If you're joining us, thank you for joining us with the Sharmark Show. We have our guest here today, Elmo. He's a musician, an arranger. I think he covers everything in the line of music. Do you sing?
Well, I wouldn't say I sing,
Let's do a little thing.
but I just try a little thing,
Thing.
because sometimes you have to demo your tracks to send for the artist, or
But I've seen on TikTok you doing little stuff. But I think sometimes if you do it and you do it with full confidence, you might feel surprised.
Of course.
I think it's almost like sometimes you maybe don't like how you hate
hate
how you
yourself.
sound in. So you just trust me, just take it from the inside and release it and be like, oh my God. Because I think they have some artists, now you're telling me about the arranging and the recording. Some of them, I would say, are recording artists. When they
Yes.
hit the stage,
It's
they cannot
completely
perform at all. Like, huh? Is this the same song? Because they don't even have the personality to match the song. But I was, how do you call it? One, is it arranging and you fine tune the music? It actually changes the person's voice. How do you call that?
that's engineering now. So the engineer actually fixes the vocals. That's the mixing engineer.
But don't you find sometimes they do it too much? I think it's a disadvantage for the artists because they have some artists like Beyonce and some of them, they can actually sing, how do you call it, a cappella. They can actually sing a song
And it sounds
without
like a
music
recording.
and it sounds good, and then to change the voice so much, to me, you put me at a disadvantage.
Well, I could say they have two things to it. Some artists probably, I would say, are not vocally strong. So sometimes the engineers tampers with their voice for them to have that certain voice to have a record. But I could tell you for even artists that have the most perfect voice, it still has some engineering to do, but not as much as those who cannot really deliver. So that's why the engineer has a lot to do with what makes the artist. Yeah. That's why some artists, like for me, when I did the Butterfly project, some artists have the specific engineer they would send their work to for it to sound like the, like that's their sound. But on stage you see it completely different, and sometimes it worries you. But I I could say it has its disadvantages and it has its advantages because you see people react to it like that's not how I heard the song. That's not the same personality I get. But the mixing engineer has and the vocal engineer has a lot.
I realized, like, when we were speaking before we came on board, you spoke about Patrice Roberts and you spoke about Kes. I think that in the music industry, it gives you a lot of exposure and put you in, like, in contact with the right person. What was the experience like working with Patrice Roberts, a big name like that?
Well, actually, I started with Patrice Roberts' music through Private Ryan. That's the first time I ever did work on her music. That was back in 2021. Let me tell you.
Private Ryan is a DJ.
Yeah, he's a DJ. And he also produces, surprisingly.
Okay, nice.
During COVID time was my breakthrough in my music, I would say, in terms of getting on an international base and learning a lot of stuff.
That's good.
And big up Moto, Lashley Moto, he was the one who gave me my first opportunity to play on a track with Kes, actually, as well, by La Reading, Boss Lady. I co-produced it with Lashley Moto.
So just now be Elmo and friends, because it's almost like links, because one person might hear that track and say, that's the way you get that rhythm.
That's how it
and your name
happened.
Just keep going. That's good. That's very good.
And then Private Ryan told me he had a project and I played ukulele on it for...
Ukulele meaning? Educate me.
Ukulele,
the very small
the
thing.
small guitar I play.
I look like a... Okay. Oh, so that's the name.
Yeah, ukulele. It's a Hawaiian stuff. I saw it on YouTube once and I was like, that's an interesting instrument, and I just picked it up.
Okay.
And now with my own project, the Butterfly Project, I did a project called...
Why is it called the Butterfly Project?
Like, the guys were in the group saying, what does that project, what should they name that project? I said the butterfly, because a butterfly is like somebody coming out of the cocoon, coming out of the shell.
Okay.
And I felt like that project felt like it's going to put me in a place where I am unveiling who I am. Because I've always worked on projects for people, but I've never invested in my project.
So the Butterfly Project will help you create your own brand in a sense.
So that's what it did for me last year, and I produced a few songs for various artists.
For Calypso, for the Carnival season?
Actually, for the Carnival season last year.
Nice.
Nerdy Song Money's on that rhythm as well.
Oh,
the Butterfly Project.
All I want is money. All I want is cash. Yeah, bring my paper fast so that I can dance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, C-Dale, they have Pretty from Trinidad on this Wildfire.
My friend, you're not easier. Let me sit properly, because I just realized how big you is there. I fix up myself.
And then Problem Child came on the record. C-Dale was the one who encouraged him to get on the Butterfly Project. And then we were going back and forth in different conversations, and he was like, yo, Patrice would sound amazing on this project. And Problem Child wrote the song for Patrice. And then we just carried on with
Problem Child, is it a Saint Lucia?
No, Problem Child is from Saint Vincent. He was the one that sings Holiday.
Oh, okay,
He was the one who sings this song. He has a song on the rhythm as well. But
so each person that sings in your rhythm, you get, how you call it?
A percentage of royalties.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah, so that's how it came around with Patrice. And then later on...
So what inspiration do you get when you where do you get your inspiration when you put in the rhythms together? Do you in a dark space? Do you go to the beach? How do you come up with the inspiration to put the rhythm? How do you decide of what direction you're going to start with the rhythm?
To be honest, I always have music. Even while we're talking, I hate in my head like...
I don't want no 10%, the whole 25 I want.
It's like
Okay.
the environment change really. It's like
Oh, nice.
for me, I see music as therapeutic. So if I'm in a certain mood, I hear that certain, like I could almost see music forming in my head. So it's like any idea
Well,
that's
I believe you because
going
as
on.
an event planner, I call it a photographic memory. I
Yeah,
see the whole
you
event
see it
playing out in
already.
my head, so I can shift the tables from my head. It's like I have the blueprint in my head. So
Mhm.
you can actually hear that
You
song and
hearing
you
it
can put it
before.
down in
Mhm.
paper.
And then I
Wow.
contacted, like same thing with that project, Butterfly Project. I had the idea in my head with alongside the producer Bozo. He's part of the Bad Sounds,
Okay.
and he's actually a very young producer. I didn't even know his age when I reached out,
Okay.
and when we started speaking, he just came on one of my TikTok lives or Instagram
Yes,
lives,
yes,
and
yes.
then after we just started working together, and he was like, he have an idea in his head too. So I just composed the musical aspect since I was hearing it in my head already, put it together. Thank God for producing. So all the parts of the instruments and stuff I was hearing in my head, just put it in my
So when you're
software.
producing, if you want to put drums, you add in the drums. It's
Mhm.
almost like you're creating a
You
recipe.
creating it's like cooking.
Cooking.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's something else. So are you doing anything at all for the jazz festival that's coming up this year?
Yes, I will be doing. Hopefully, I will be at one of the shows,
Oh,
the main
nice.
shows at Pigeon
Oh,
Island,
that's good.
alongside Shaz and Jamali. We call ourselves the Arrangers. So
Okay,
yes,
nice.
we usually play together at different events. Shaz on the pan, Jamali on JD on percussion, and me on my ukulele.
Oh, nice. We'll
Yeah.
be right back. We'll get more information. It's getting interesting over here from Elmo. Welcome back. If you're just joining me, welcome to the Sharmark Show. I have a very interesting guest here, Elmo. Elmo, tell us, you keep mentioning the Patrice rhythm. She sang a song on your rhythm.
Yeah.
What song is it?
Well, she sang a song. Well, the name of the song is Kia Hear You.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Kia Hear You. It was written by Problem Child. And actually, it just hit 1 million views last week, which is a milestone for
That's
me.
good. Yes.
Yeah, my first million views on a single project. Like, that's my first groovy project. I've done
That's good.
singles.
Yes,
but
yes.
My first project on my own, deciding to.
That's huge.
come out.
I mean, you speaking to me, that's huge. And congratulations with that. So where do you see yourself, or where do you want to see yourself in the music business?
Well, there are three people I look up to in the music business that I could say I want to follow in their footsteps. Lashley Moto. From the States, we have Dr. Dre. And the third person I'd say is Quincy Jones. They're people that turn music not only into something that people listen to and enjoy, but something that could be a business that people could make a living out of it, have people like change people's life. Because I realize how it's changing my life every single day.
Definitely.
Sometimes I get emotional speaking about it too, because when I
Yeah.
look at my 17-year-old self saying like, well, I really want to do music, but I don't know how these guys making money off of music.
Because now you understand the
And now I
formula.
understand the formula, and I'm
Formula.
still understanding it every single day. But it has done so much for me
Yeah.
from COVID time to now,
Now.
and it's just a
But
blessing.
even knowing you as a child and
Yes.
now, I think music has shaped your personality. I say,
Exactly.
Aldin has
Everything.
dance, or Elwood has dance. It's like, okay, if I saw you at the, was it open launching of Carnival,
Carnival, yes.
with the, how you call it, your
ukulele.
the ukulele. And then, I mean, like, that was a nice, did you all arrange that together, or did you arrange it and you all rehearse it?
I could say we used to each other. We've been playing for so
So
long.
long,
that
so that you did not need a rehearsal.
So we didn't need a
Oh,
rehearsal.
wow, that's
So
cool.
we practice. We could say so many years of practice. Anytime we have something to execute, we could actually speak on the phone, rehearse our parts individually, and then come together and execute.
And I think that's good as young people, where people can do stuff together and not see the sense of jealousy. And I think that's good, because most times when you come together, you can do so much together. And nice. So do you write music at all apart from arranging? Have you tapped into
Yes,
writing music?
I do score music as well.
How do you call it?
Score.
Score.
So you're actually writing the musical notes.
So another term for it is scoring
Yes,
music.
scoring
Okay,
music,
that's
writing music,
interesting.
scoring music.
Okay,
Actually, did some music for the Calypso season.
last year.
Yeah, last year I
Would you like to
scored.
mention which songs?
Well, the song I composed was for the SJC, the Junior Calypso.
Okay, nice.
I composed her song for writing, scoring the music, arranging it for her.
Okay.
For the Soca Monarch, I did whose song? Well, that song I didn't score it, but I gave it to somebody to do. It was
Okay.
for Blessed and Money. I think Errol, I believe. I don't want to get it wrong, but
Yeah.
Errol Fontinel, I believe, wrote the music for Money for
Yeah.
Me for Soca,
Okay,
for Soca
nice.
Monarch. And I usually do it with different artists to just
So,
compose it.
yeah.
And also currently writing music for the church.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's good. So, oh, when you said the church, yes,
Scoring.
for scoring for the church.
Yeah.
Okay, like music in terms of
New songs for the
new
church.
songs. So
Yes.
you're getting away from the traditional hymns, and oh, that's interesting.
So even though you still have to have, let's say, the foundation or learn what they bring to the table. So I've been in the church for so many years that I just wanted to give people the same feeling that I had when I was younger. You know, you hear the rhythms and
Yes,
the
yes,
church,
yeah.
and you're also feeling what like about the Lord and stuff like that.
Yes, yes, yeah.
But I wanted to give it to the today youth. They wouldn't feel what you
Now
feel
it's
back
funny
in
you
the
say
day.
the church. Most good musicians always
Always come
come
from
from
the
the church.
Yeah, I hear that
It's
a
almost
lot.
like the Lord is very powerful when it comes to music. There's a
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
sense of communication. Most Whitney Houston, a whole bunch, when it like started Jennifer Hudson, everybody starts from the church,
Yeah.
which is good. When you're scoring, you said
Mm-hmm.
a song. Do you, and for you to give it to an artist, do you have to hear a voice? How would you decide which artist would be the perfect person to execute that song?
Okay. Sometimes I just, let's say, build a rhythm on my producing software and then give it to the artist and allow them to be the creative. Just be free, see what you want. And then afterwards, when we have the full project, I just listen to, let's say, the song and then do it for them. Like, for instance, I scored the music for Shemi J Pretty on Purpose back in 2019, I believe, or 2018 when he released the song. And I had to do a lot of stuff just listening to his song, listening to how his approaches, his tone. You have to listen to everything when it comes to arranging because you want the artist to be as comfortable as possible on your song.
Have you ever scored a song for somebody and they said, "Boy, I'm not comfortable with that song," and you had to go back to the drawing board or give it to somebody else?
I have done songs and had to give it to somebody else. It has happened.
Because I was watching YouTube some time ago, and then they said they wrote a song for Rihanna, and she almost rejected it, and the song is a hit.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think sometimes maybe at the time the person may be thinking that song is not for me. They just off their head. But I think sometimes you have to try things first before
have
you
to
lose
try.
that opportunity. It might just be your biggest song
Your
ever.
biggest song. Facts. It's just about believing in yourself and taking a lot of risk. That's one thing I could say I learned too, is you will hear noise. You'll hear a lot of outside noise saying like, it will not work for you, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that.
Yes, yes.
But you just have to just believe in whatever you're in your head.
I like that. That is so strong what you said there, and it brings back a lot of memories for a lot of young people that might be watching that, and even parents. Because what would you tell a parent that one day son or the daughter tells them they want to go into music? Now, for some parents, in their mind, they visualize the music will not
not
bring the
pay.
money fast enough. What would you tell them to encourage them to allow that young man or that young woman to follow their dream?
For me, it's just in like, how could I put it? Just listen. That's the best thing I could say. Listen to your child, because sometimes that crazy risk you see in the taking or wanting to become something can be the thing that could provide for your family, provide for himself, take him very, very far. Like my parents put me in music, and at some point in time, obviously a parent will be like, you should take on this or try something. They'll always give you that talk because they grow up with a certain standard. All parents have a certain mindset, but then when you show them it's doing something for you, and sometimes they just hold back. You allow your child to just see a new world and bring a new world to you, and then it'll have less worry on you as a parent.
Yeah.
Because you seen your child actually taking responsibility. It actually gave me a sense of responsibility for myself, taking a lot of risk.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Do you ever go back and look at one of your performances and how do you feel?
No, I always laugh and just smile like I'm happy I did it. I'm happy I
Yes,
took
yeah.
that risk. I'm happy I was on stage. That feeling is just like, wow, I did that. I didn't have no shame.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. I like that. Okay, thank you. But before we wrap up, I'd just like to say, it sounds like you have your head on your shoulders. I would tell you to stay focused and don't get distracted because it look like, I guess you might be the next big name. And the fact that you have already started working out of Saint Lucia, which is good, and then you have tapped into the different areas into music. So I wish you good luck in everything that you do in terms of music in Saint Lucia and the wider region, you know, and I think that's good. So I think you just have to keep pushing and
And one thing I could say, sorry for interrupting.
no problem.
I spoke about my international, but locally, I want to give a lot of thanks to Ezra the Fun Machine because he's one person I've been working with. Beautiful, actually. Beautiful and Hello Carnival.
What do you mean? You wrote those songs?
I produced the music for this
Oh
song.
wow! Congratulations! These songs. When
Yes.
I heard that song first, Ezra is a very strong artist. And when he sang hello,
Yes.
and then he just
It was another
switched
side
in,
of
so
it.
it was like, whoa! It's almost
Yes.
like he went to that Twilight vampire
Yes.
kind of thing. I was like, wow, this is creativity,
Yes, so-
and it just did something to me. I just find it like it's almost like welcoming to me.
Yes.
When I heard that song, I said they need to use it for the theme song for Saint Lucia Carnival
Carnival.
because it's just saying hello. It's almost like Carnival is very timid and it's telling Carnival hello, you're trying to get it to unfold and be something else. But that's good. That's good stuff.
I always
Yes.
support Ezra music, and trust me, there will be more coming. I see the support; it's playing everywhere. I see they're using it for all shows in Saint Lucia now.
Yes.
Hello Carnival and Beautiful, and the pageantry as well. I see they abusing it, so
Yes.
I really appreciate
And
it.
it's
Keep
good.
playing
Let
it.
them abuse it because you know why? I find sometimes, especially around the Carnival season, we play too much of the international music. We have enough music in
yeah.
St. Lucia. I am saying if you don't like whatever they produce this year, go back 2 years down the line. They must have something you
Must
would
have
like.
content. Yeah.
Yeah, especially for the pageants and stuff like that. Use our local. That's the only way we all would benefit from it. Yes. Okay. Well, before we wrap up, is there anything you would like to say before we wrap up?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, you're most welcome, sir.
Really appreciate
Yes,
it.
yes.
And I just want to say, can I say shout out to my
Yes,
Insta-
yes.
So shout out my Instagram, OK Elmo Norville, my TikTok Elmo Norville 4, where you'll see all my content, even my YouTube Elmo Norville, where you'll see all artists I work with, even content I put out on my own. And just want to say shout out to all the artists I've been working with so far. So many names, but I'm just gonna put you all in a general statement. And I really thank you for y'all helping me reach where I'm going to reach. Yes.
I like that. Helping you for you ain't rich yet.
Yes.
You better pack your bags, you're going. But thank you so much.
Of
Good
course.
luck. Yes, all right. Thank you guys for viewing. This was the Sharmark Show. Catch you on Sunday.